I'll tell you a little story, and I want you to shut up until I'm finished.
I'm Dr. Mortis Rotten. This is my co-host.
Hi, Mortis.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah,
And this is
the Hellywood Slab. You can find us also on Facebook if you want to check out the Hellywood Slab horror movie reviews, or you can watch all of our old reviews. We're going to be doing a review on 1989's Parents. If you like.
Okay, first off, I'm a huge fan of the cinematography. Mm-hmm. It had a mix of natural-born killers, a little bit of Quentin Tarantino style early, before Tarantino became Tarantino. The way that it was shot, the way it really expressed the artsy in the film itself. There was a lot of artistic shots, and I didn't get bored with the cinematic style of it. I loved that.
I like the fact that it kind of goes into a theme that was really popular in the 80s and kind of started to fizzle out towards the end. A lot of people don't realize a lot of films dealt with cannibals.
Oh, yeah.
You had Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2. You had, what was that other one? Warlock Moon's another one. And then, God, one of my favorites, Motel Hell. Oh, my goodness. Takes all kinds of predators to make Farmer Vincent's fritters, man. So in this case, we've kind of changed things up a little bit. We have a young boy who's living with his parents. Movie takes place in the 1950s. Oh, and one of the things I loved about it, I watched the At the Movies episode on this, and watching Siskel and Ebert actually argue over this movie.
Really?
Ebert hated it. Siskel actually loved it. I was like, wait, David Siskel was very, very critical.
Oh, very critical?
Very critical of horror movies. And this one he actually liked. He felt it was going to become a future cult classic.
And it did.
Here we are. Parents is, and you know, the thing is sad about it, though, is it's a film a lot of people kind of pass up, and I don't know why. It's a film, really, people. If you like strange, quirky, gory, and it's not overly gory either.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. It's got some blood in places where it needs to have blood, but we're not talking like George Romero zombie movies, copious amounts of blood, Hellraiser amounts of blood. And a lot of the horror in this film is kind of like John Carpenter's old philosophy that the least that you see, the better it is.
Yeah.
And
it's more of what's in your mind's eye.
Right, exactly, which is kind of what you want from horror movies, especially from this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, watching Siskel and Ebert, especially when you're seeing Roger Ebert complaining about what a gore fest the film is, and you're like, did you watch the movie? It's not that gory. It's not. It really isn't.
So to break it down for you guys here, we're not going to give much about the ending or anything like that.
No.
But this family is moving to a new neighborhood in the beginning because they have to relocate. The guy still has his. I don't understand that part. He's able to get the job so easily. He works at a place called Toxico.
Yeah, but it's a chemical plant, and he's on the verge of some big discovery if I remember correctly, a food preservative, which would make sense for what they're doing.
Well, not exactly a food preservative, but they have this chemical that destroys everything in the area to basically take over the land. They have a miniature rainforest set up with a
grow
village.
Food, yes.
Yeah, and it just turned everything to food, even people.
Yeah, and so
you get this. It's like a hidden mystery of what's going on. You kind of blatantly already know what's on, but you question yourself through the whole film.
And that's the beautiful part about it too, because the reason you question yourself about the film in this case is because of the child.
Right.
You're seeing it mostly through the child's eye and his own imagination.
Yeah.
And the fact that you kind of don't know what's real and what isn't. And there's the really creepy, weird scene where he walks in on his parents having sex, and you're kind of going,
yeah, but don't forget, they're also covered in blood.
yeah, they're like covered in blood, and it's just like I said, it's like,
it's weird.
Okay, like your worst nightmare would probably be as a child walking in on your parents doing the nasty. And in this case, wow, this is the kind of crap that you would, what in the name of all that's holy is going on? And here's the thing too, the relationship between father and son is very odd in this movie. Dad does not like the kid. You can totally tell, even from the start. He is not comfortable with his son. And that's the one part.
He makes that line. He's like, you don't look like me, you don't act like me, you're not even my son.
Yeah, you don't like me very much, well, I don't like you either. And even then, Randy was getting weird, but now that he is totally eccentric, and you're watching this film and you're going,
He's not held back at all.
Man, he's just unhinged in this film. He carries the movie.
Yeah, it's very well written. It's all the actors in it are top notch on it.
The teacher and the psychiatrist, or the child psychiatrist, trying to figure out, hey, what's wrong with this kid? What's wrong with this kid? And you find out there's nothing wrong with this kid. His parents are freaking bloody psychopaths.
Yeah, so
strange movie. And that's the thing. You're going to sit through this movie, and that's the vibe you get through the whole thing. It is a strange, strange movie. It is not a typical, oh, I'm terrified, oh, I'm trying, because I don't know that this film is inherently trying to scare you. I think the reason that the film is scary is because the vibe is just very bizarre.
It's very dark.
It's bizarre, though.
If you're like me, if you grew up Addams, you'll really like this because you would think that this family is an extension of the Addams family, the real Addams family, possibly. Yeah, it's funny. It's
if they
dark.
had an Uncle Ed Gein, yeah.
Well,
Uncle Gein.
not like they showed it a lot, but they talked about it.
Yeah.
My grandma was cooking people.
Yeah. It was. The point being is it's a low key. It's a cannibal film.
It is.
Which was very popular at the time. Well.
And if you like to cook really good exotic meals, you should watch this too.
By that time, it had, cannibal films had fallen out of fashion like quicksand in movies had.
Yeah.
I mean, you got tired of seeing we got quicksand again.
Really?
Here we go again, But it's kind of like the last of the really great, I know it's going to sound funny saying great cannibal movies, but there were some good cannibal movies. I dare anybody really to argue that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2 were not good movies.
Right.
I dare you to argue, that Motel Hell, while slow in spots, was a great movie. I mean, that's worth it almost just for Rory Calhoun's performance alone, man. So here we go with this film. You got Randy Quaid. I mean, he's hamming it up in this film. In a very good way, though.
Very serious.
Yeah, I mean,
there's everything he says is with a very sinister tone.
He's almost sneering at you the whole time, too.
Yeah.
And it just really, you hate him by the end of this movie. It's like, you don't want to hate him,
but you do.
But by the end of the film, you're just like, nah, screw this guy,
Yeah, it's not as far to the extent of like Soylent Green or like the Green Inferno.
Oh God,
it's not to that extent.
Dr. Butcher, MD.
Yeah, it's very Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, again, and a lot of it is done.
It's very classy.
It's funny too, though. But here's the thing: if you walk into this, it is very much a dark comedy, though, too.
Oh.
There are some just silly shenanigans going on in the background. A lot of it's innuendo.
Okay. My favorite scene that lets you know that you have to question reality through this movie is there's a scene where the boy snuck down to see what's going on and ends up in the kitchen pantry. Okay.
Oh Lord.
And the whole time he's like a voyeurist, so it's a little weird there. But he's
spying on his parents and stuff.
There's these sausage meats just sitting here above him, and slowly they start stretching and getting longer, and then come up and wrap around him like a snake. But then his mom opens the door and looks at him. What was it like?
She goes, dinner will be at 6, and then she closes.
Yeah. So
Daddy,
a lot of stuff like that.
Sausage? Would you like some sausage? Oh God, I hate that movie. Freddy got fingerprinted. You had to say sausages.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of avant-garde, artistic type stuff. Very picture, if you would, a non-serious version film-wise of like Suppressa, where it's very. I mean, keep saying artistic, but if you see this film, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you don't like the cinematography in this, well, that's on you. If you don't like the story, that's on you. However, you will love Randy Quaid in this.
Okay, for me, where that's concerned, cinematography reminds me very much of a Carpenter film.
Yeah.
It's got kind of like those very wide, broad, open spaces that Carpenter uses, and then all of a sudden everything is so tight in and choke you.
Yes.
Where you're just going, okay, whoever filmed it,
sorry, was good.
Your use of space was beautiful because it really, really grabs the film. It grabs the eye of the viewer. Soundtrack was fantastic, definitely of the period that they were trying to convey.
Oh man, you really feel like you're in the 50s. It's like Fido, makes you feel like you're right there.
The poker scene is my favorite, because you got a feeling this scene's going to get very perverted and stuff, but they only really kind of lean into it through suggestion. And
that they're swingers?
Yeah, it was kind of a odd
And then when
scene.
the parents catch on, they're like, it's time for us to leave.
Yeah, it's time to leave. It's like, we don't want to swing with you, we just want to eat you.
Right.
You know?
I want to eat you, but not like that.
But, so, seriously, if you have a chance to watch it, definitely watch it.
Check it out.
Dr. Morgus Rotten is going to be very generous with this film. You get 4 ghouls out of 5. I mean, really, it's a unique gem of its period. It's one of the last films of its period. Heading into the 90s when horror kind of stalled a bit there at the beginning. I think Parents was one of those last films that really just kind of grabbed the spirit of the 80s.
And you know what? It has a timeless feel to it.
Yes. That's the other thing. It's one of those films that, even from its period, it's a New World picture, too.
Yeah.
And it's, I believe it was New World or Vestron. Vestron, I think. The point being is it's just got a definite, even though it's got a B-movie feel, it's got a flair that actually makes it feel like an A-budget film.
Yeah, I totally forgot that this wasn't a top-budget film.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, I remember this in theaters. Did it?
Yes.
Was it? And it was that thought, you're like, wait a minute. But again...
And did very well on video, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's how I watched it on VHS, you know. But, you know, as a little hint, if you do some backwoods, you know, discovering research on YouTube, you actually can find it without having to pay for it, and it is uncensored. And it's remastered and prettied up and everything else, unless you'd like to watch it in the old school analog like I do. You can watch it in its 16:9 full format, beautiful HD picture with crisp, lovely digital sound.
Nice.
And it's definitely worth checking out. So Dr. Morgus Rotten says, let's watch. So let's watch.
Just a little reminder and a heads up. I suggest you have a plethora of snacks and food while watching this. You are going to get hungry watching this movie. And it's not one of those things that's going to make you disgusted while you're eating because you know what's going on. It's because the way they prepare all the food in this, you're just drooling because it looks so good.
Yeah.
Almost human fresh.
Soylent Green is people.
Soylent Green is people!
Soylent Green is people.
But we highly recommend. It's got the seal of approval from us. Please, please watch Parents.
Watch Parents. Buy the DVD. Buy the Blu-ray. I think there's a 4K release of it too, even.
And feel free to stalk the cast and let them know how well you look.
Yeah. Oh, and yes, I do know it's a Vestron because it was just released by Shout Factory, I believe, on Blu-ray through the Vestron, through its Vestron line. So yeah, grab the Blu-ray. While you're at it, grab the Dentist 1 and 2 set 2. We're going to be freaking reviewing those down the road too. We love you, Corbin Burnson. We love you. And with that, this has been the Hellywood Slab. Check us out on Facebook and stay scared, boils and ghouls.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Till then.